Okay, let me tell you a little bit about Hopper while I'm driving. The Hopper app. The Hopper app is really good, and I have recommended it to other people, several other people, as a way to find a cheap flight. And the way it works is you put in where you want to go, what days, and you ask Hopper to watch that trip. Watch that. I want to go on July 1st to July 4th to Topeka, Kansas. And then it'll remind you you can put something in for, I don't know how far out, but 6 months out or longer. And they will tell you, oh, your flight, like, don't book now. It looks like, this is your price, $250, but we think you should wait. Prices should drop. And then at some point they'll send you a price, and price may be really good, and they're like, you should book now. Prices are not likely to go lower than this. So it's kind of like doing the work for you. You don't have to go and look for these tickets and spend all this time going to websites and punching in. It's keeping you up to date as you plan for your vacation, trip, whatever. Well, here's the thing about trying to travel and budget, budget travel, trying to travel on the cheap. I hate to say cheap, but yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to see as many places as I can and not break the bank. So here's the thing. I went on a site called Snap Travel. I'm going to tell you about them, but really I'm talking about Hopper today. And I was booking, so there's a hotel that I like to stay at. When you go directly to the hotel, their rooms are, let's say, $300 and something a night. That's crazy. Like, I don't know who does that, but I don't do that. I don't pay $300 plus a night for a hotel. I know there's a lot of people who do. I know there's a lot of people who travel and spend lots of money, but I don't. So, as long as it's decent, I'll spend money if I have no choice. But if I can find decent accommodations for less, I don't want to be more than like $100 to $125 per night. I try to stick around. Like, if it's $111, $119, okay, I'll do that. Because you're not going to get much cheaper than that unless the place is nasty or has bed bugs. Anyway, I go on Snapchat. So what I did, I like this hotel. If you go directly to their sites, their prices are really high. So I'm like, okay. But when I just typed the hotel name in the search bar, I was seeing bookings for cheaper. And where I saw the cheapest price, which was like the first time it was like $111, it was on booking.com. And I have another trick is when you get these third-party booking and prices, you get it and then you go directly to the person, and sometimes they'll match the price. So that's something I learned just from other travelers, because when you use booking.com, cheap tickets, kayak, all those places, Expedia, you don't have the same rights when you book something through third party. So, like when you get to the hotel and you say, oh, I want this, or I want the points on my Hilton Honors account, or it's all kinds of things that limit you when you go through third-party booking, where when you book with them directly, I can't think of them right now, but that's not my point. So I'm looking for this hotel, I put it in Google search, and I get a cheaper price. Okay, then I booked through that place. I took the chance with the third party because I literally called the hotel. Hey, do you match prices? I found this price on the website, and they said, no, we don't match prices. We're a family-run hotel. I don't know about that, but anyway, he said no. He may have just been a non-trained employee. Maybe I could give them another call. now that I've stayed there, I kind of have a feel for how they are. So this time, so I'm going right back. I had such a good time. I'm going right back. I want that cheap room. The room before was, like I said, like 119, 111. And then when I went to book it, it had gone up. So by the time I went back, it was like 180. And I had to go, so I just booked it at 180. So now I'm like, ooh, I want to go back there. It was great. So I'm doing it in advance. I should be able to find those 119 tickets. But no, now they're saying like 300, 278, 330 something, 380 something. They were expensive. So I put it in the search bar again. Booking.com showed up again, or one of those sites. I think it was Booking.com, but gave me a good price. All right, I booked it with the option for cancellation. Then I said, let me look again. And remember, you have to go in like a different browser, or I have different computers in the house. I'll get on a different computer because also they have the cookies. I got to figure out how to clear my cookies. But they also have the cookies. And so I've been told, I don't know if it's true, that they up the price. Like they know you're looking. You look the first time, you get this price. When you come back, it's like the computer remembers you and doesn't give you the low prices anymore. So I will go as far as calling my daughter and say, you know, go in and check this price for me. So to see what's coming up on your computer. So I did all of that. I booked the one, whatever it was, 180, I forgot, 150, I don't know. So then so let me check again. Let me go in here and see if I, you know, like I can cancel it. And I've seen those prices as low as 110. So I want to see, how did that come up? How did they go from 110 to 300? So I'm going to just keep checking, because that's the key here when you want to do budget travel. You got to keep checking. So I keep checking, and sure enough, there's a site that says they have a price of 130. So I don't know what I paid originally. Maybe it was 150, 160. I really don't remember. Maybe 160. So now they have a price of 130. So I'm like, well, let me check that out. It's cheaper. I mean, same place, same date. So I may as well do the cheaper one. So I go and I check it out. Snap Travel. I go and I check it out. And it's weird because when you want to book, they say, you know, put in your phone number or your email to book the flight. And I'm like, huh? I mean, not the flight, the hotel. Just to like see the price or to get started, I had to get a text. Okay. So I put in the number. At first time I was like, no, this looks like some kind of scam. The second time I came back, I said, I'll try it. I put in my number. They texted me. They gave me a code. I put it in. And they gave me, I read fine print, a reservation, $130 a night, and you can cancel. So I'm like, okay, I have a little time. Maybe I'll take this one. It's cheaper. I just don't know what's the catch here. What's the catch? There's a catch. I don't know what it is. So when I'm going down and I push pay, there's a little thing at the bottom that they have given themselves a tip. the site, the website has given themselves a $5 tip, and it has that little scale where you can scroll over, you can make it higher or make it lower, and there's their little note that says, you know, thanks for the tip, or do you mind tipping? Do you mind tipping for us saving you these prices? We saved you $52. What? And if you're not paying close attention and you just push submit and you're not reading everything, which I do a lot, I'll admit, I'll be rushing. You would have just paid an extra $5 without knowing it. They don't give you an option, yes, no. It's added. The tip is added into your price. A tip for a website. That's crazy. So of course I didn't give him the tip. I got my $5 back, but it made me alarmed, and I shared this with other travelers. Hey, you guys, look, this happened. So then the other travelers said to me, oh yeah, Hopper does it too. Hopper puts in like $25 VIP support fee on their tickets, as well as a tip. Hopper gives himself a tip, and they give you VIP support that you don't even know you have and you don't need. So essentially, Hopper is helping you find the flights, and that is good. It's tip worthy. I mean, like I say, they're doing the work for you. But I'm not giving a business a tip when that's their whole business, is to find you flights and to alert you. If y'all are struggling, close down, regroup, or whatever. But don't start making us pay you a tip that we didn't know we paid. So after this woman told me that, sure enough, I went back, I looked on my last Hopper purchase, because now I don't really purchase on Hopper. I've stopped. Now what I've been doing is get the price and then go buy it directly from the airline. But for a while I wasn't hip to that part, so I would just book it through Hopper. And sure enough, I had a $30 charge on my last flight that I booked there, I think in January. And I have to, so I'm like, oh, no, let me call them. Well, of course, you know what happened. You can't find a phone number on their site. You can't get help. When you click on help, just like Uber or any of those things, they're giving you articles. How may we help you? Was your food not right? That's Uber Eats or whatever. But they're not getting you to a person. So finally, I figured it out. I had to go through. This is not worth the saved flight. Like, Hopper just made me mad. Like, do we want to work with them anymore? Because they just took me through a lot. So I'm in a meeting, and I'm like, I got to go through every trip that I booked with Hopper, which is at least 5, more like 7 when you count that some of them were for 2 travelers, and look at the fees and figure out what the heck is going on. And then I have to try to figure out how to call them through this maze, and then fight it. And then if that doesn't work, I have to call my bank. So I figured it out. They refuse to answer. They even have a phone number, but they don't answer. You have to go in through the site. You have to click for help, and then on the specific area where you need the help. So I have to go find my trips, find my past trips, open up the invoice, and click get help. And then you get an email that responds to what you typed in as your issue. So at least it's efficient, because the email does come quick. And they right away refunded the $30 without a lot of question. So they know it's a scam. You know, they're not like, well, ma'am, we provided you VIP service and this. They know it's a scam. They didn't ask any questions. They just refunded the money. But then one of the trips, the one that's the most concerning to me, is a trip that I took that I booked it in a rush. It was about $300 and something, $333, I think. But when I looked at the invoice, the taxes and fees was like $150, $149. What did y'all charge me for on here? Well, it doesn't break down the fees. The invoice just says taxes and fees with no breakdown. So that, I push get help. Hey, I need a breakdown. They come back. They say they can't give me the breakdown. And then they say, you know, we can't. They send me exactly what I already had. You know, fare, taxes, and fees, $149. I'm like, I need to know what y'all charged me. What were the fees? I don't care if this was three years ago. You're not stealing my money. And we still haven't gotten that one resolved. They basically said they can't, it's older, so they can't see it, that, you know, whatever. They can't tell me what the fees were, and they'll have to call American Airlines. I'm like, but you are the guys adding tips, not American Airlines. But so they said they would have to call the airline and figure out and try to help me. And I'm like, that's fine. I'm gonna go to my credit card and let them know you need to, refund this money they're stealing. So that's the deal on Hopper. I know I kind of went in different places, but that's the deal on Hopper. Don't mess with them. If you're going to use them, what you do is let them search and find your flights and tell you when they're going up and down, and then you go and book it directly through the airline. Because the last time that I did that, it was even cheaper when I went through the airline than what they were telling me. So they may have said this flight is $75. I went to the airline, it was $60. Yes, $60 to Houston. So yeah, Hopper, I hate to put y'all out there. Before I was enthused, would tell everybody, but now you're stealing money from people. So we're not using you anymore. We're not using you anymore.